Welcome to the TPC Desktop video series. We've been looking at the Advanced Surfaces chapter of the Learning Guide, and so far we've created a surface from the topo points traverse and put a border around it and edit it, so our surface actually is looking pretty good. Now we want to enhance the surface by putting in break lines. I'm going to show you the way I like to do it, but generally as a rule, our crews, when they go out and do the work in the field, come back and produce the surface in the office. So we want that person that was out on the ground to be able to come back in and say, yeah, this is what I shot. This is how I'm going to make the surface look like what I want. So let's talk about break lines as a way to improve the way the surface looks. And really when I talk about improving it, I'm saying I want it to better fit what was actually on the ground there. So let's start with just a real simple break line here. I'm going to zoom in on the northeast corner up here and just turn off the zoom points. And I basically have a retaining wall that I want to pick up from 100 to 110 and to 111. And I want to show you how we do that with break lines. Now I'm going to tell Traverse PC that I want the tin lines drawn. So I'm going to double click any contour. And I have the minor contours turned off right now, which is just fine. Let's go to the tin. Tell Traverse PC I want to draw the tin line and any break lines that I create. So now I'm going to see these gray tin lines are going to be kind of light there. That's how I want them for now. And I see I already have a tin line from 100 to 110. So I'm not going to improve that by putting an additional break line in there. But I do see that I don't have a tin line from 110 to 111, and I want that there. So I'm going to right click, go to Surface Tools, and I'm going to turn off the manual compute because I want these things to happen while I do the editing. So let's do that again. Right click, surface. It can be a tin line or a contour line. Go to Surface Tools. And we're going to tell Traverse PC we're going to edit break lines. Traverse PC says, would you like this service to recompute as you edit it? And we're going to say yes. We want to see things as we go. And then we look at the status bar down here and it says left click point symbols, labels, or tin lines to add break lines. Left click break lines to delete them. So where there isn't a break line, we click 110 and we go to 111. Traverse PC adds the break line between those 2 points, regenerates the tin, redraws the contours for me because I turned that manual recompute off. And I can see that I've now edited the surface. We get a lot of questions about, can I edit the surface? And really they're talking about, can I change the configuration of those triangles? And yes, we do it through break lines. Now, I certainly could go in and edit this surface just that way. I could continue to connect the dots where I want to insert the break lines. But let me show you how I like to do it. Let's come back to our Traverse Manager here. And I've highlighted retaining wall 1, 2, 3, 4, the driveway, and then the shore. And I've highlighted these because in addition to being features that I wanted to show on the map, they also are places where the grade breaks. So these are good candidates for break lines. And I can simply tell Traverse PC, take these traverses that I'm using for other purposes and import them into this surface as break lines. So let's go ahead and zoom back out. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. I'm going to double click one of these surface lines again, and let's go into break lines. Here's the break line that we added a moment ago, 110 to 111. I'm going to move this off to the side here so we can see this a little bit better. But here's the tool I want, Traverse Options. Select the traverses you want in the Traverse view, which we've already done. We selected those traverses I showed you earlier, and then we just say Get. So Traverse PC is going to look through those traverses and import these break lines that were part of those. Now I can simply say Apply, and do you see how Traverse PC changed the surface for us? Let's go ahead and turn off the tin lines because we really don't need those on there right now. Let's go back to break lines. Let's tell it not to include break lines and apply. Let's tell it now to include break lines and apply. Kind of neat, isn't it? So we see that I can add break lines easily if I have them in traverses already. And then I can simply tell Traverse PC, apply them to the surface or not. And then once I've got these break lines in, it's real easy for me to go back and edit them by selecting existing break lines to turn them off or connecting existing topo points to add break lines.